Did you know that most people don't know about this? Today, I'm going to show you something amazing. I watched over 200 videos from AI experts on YouTube, tracked every single tool they recommended, and then spent the last 7 months testing the 110 plus that appeared the most. I did that because the difference between the right AI tools and the wrong ones isn't just about saving time. It's the difference between getting 10 times more work done versus wasting your entire week fighting with tools that just don't deliver. So today, I'm going to show you the 14 high-performance AI tools that are actually worth your time. Let's start with the foundation because every other tool on this list works better when you know how to use these three properly. The big three AI assistants right now are ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, and each one has a specific strength. GPT is the one you probably already know, and it's the best for general reasoning, especially with the new GPT 5.2 model, which now has a really strong ability to pause and think before it responds. What makes this new generation of models different is something called chain of thought processing, which basically means the AI takes time to work through a problem step by step before giving you an answer. So if you ask it something complex, like analyzing a dense document, it doesn't just spit out the first thing it thinks of, it actually reasons through it, which dramatically reduces those moments where AI just confidently gives you the wrong answers. Claude is what I reach for when I'm writing or coding, and the reason comes down to two things. First, it has a 200,000 token context window, which in practical terms means you can paste entire books, massive research papers, or huge transcripts. And it'll actually understand the whole thing without forgetting what you said at the beginning. Most other models start losing track after a few pages, but Claude holds on to context remarkably well. And then there's Gemini, which is Google's model, and the reason it stands out is the integration with your Google account. If you're already living inside Google Workspace, Gemini can see your Gmail, your Drive, your calendar, all of it. So you can ask it things like, find that email with my flight details, or do I have a meeting this week? And it actually knows what you're talking about for anyone deep in the Google ecosystem. Gemini feels like it genuinely understands what you're working on because it can see your actual files and emails. But even the best model in the world is useless if you are slow getting your thoughts into it. And that is exactly what this next tool fixes. The tool I'm talking about is called WhisperFlow, and the concept is simple. You hold a hotkey, speak naturally, and it transcribes what you say into perfectly formatted text. Wherever your cursor is, it works in your email, Google Docs, and Chat, GPT, literally anywhere you can type. What makes it different from basic voice typing is that WhisperFlow edits as it goes. It removes your stumbles, adds punctuation automatically, and adapts formatting based on what app you're in. There's also this feature called course correction that I really like. If you're talking and you say something like, let's meet on Tuesday. Actually, no, make that Wednesday. It's smart enough to just output let's meet on Wednesday without including your correction. It understands what you meant, not just what you literally said. And then there's command mode where you can highlight text you've already written and tell WhisperFlow to do something with it. So you could say, make this more professional, or turn this into bullet points, or shorten this paragraph, and it rewrites it for you without you touching the keyboard. The speed difference is genuinely significant. What would take me 20 minutes to type out takes maybe 5 minutes of talking, and they have a free tier with a weekly word limit so you can test it out before committing. Now, if privacy is a concern and you'd rather not have your voice processed, the Cloud Super Whispers is the alternative. It runs entirely on your device using local AI models, which means nothing you say ever leaves your computer. The trade-off is that it's Mac only and doesn't have the same level of smart formatting that WhisperFlow does. But for anyone working with sensitive information or in industries with strict data policies, having everything processed locally is worth that trade-off. So if you want the best overall experience where you can speak at full speed and get perfectly formatted text every single time, WhisperFlow is the choice. If you need local processing for sensitive work, go with Super Whisper. Now, that handles how you get ideas out, but we still need to talk about how you capture information coming in. AI meeting notes have become almost mandatory for anyone who spends significant time on calls, and the two I would recommend for most users are Granola and Fathom. Granola is the one that's been getting a lot of attention lately, especially from executives and people who sit in back-to-back meetings all day. What makes it different from other note takers is that it doesn't have a bot that joins your call with most AI note taker. Everyone in the meeting sees something like AI note taker has joined pop-up, which can feel awkward, especially in client calls or sensitive conversations. Granola avoids that entirely by capturing audio directly from your device, so it's completely invisible to everyone else on the call. After the meeting, it transcribes everything and produces these really polished, clean notes that actually look like a human wrote them. You can also jot down rough notes during the meeting. Just quick bullet points of things you want to remember, and Granola will enhance them with context pulled from the transcript. So your note that says budget concern becomes a full paragraph explaining exactly what was said about the budget and who said it. Fathom is the other option, and the main reason to consider it is that it's completely free with unlimited transcriptions. It works with Zoom, Google Meet, and Teams, and the moment you hang up, you get a full summary with key points, action items, and the ability to create shareable clips of specific moments. If you're budget conscious or just want to try AI note-taking without committing to a subscription, Fathom is where I'd start. But if you want higher quality notes and a recorder that doesn't awkwardly join your calls, pick Granola. However, capturing information is only useful if you can actually find it later, which is exactly what the next two tools solve. These two tools have basically replaced how I learn about new topics, and they serve different but complementary purposes. First is Perplexity, which is like Google search, except it actually answers your question. Instead of making you do the work when you search something on Google, you get 10 blue links and you have to click through each one, skim the articles, and piece together the answer yourself. Perplexity does that work for you. It reads those sources, synthesizes the information, and gives you a summarized answer with citations showing exactly where each piece of information came from. This matters because you're not just trusting an AI to make things up. Every claim is linked to a source, so you can verify anything that seems questionable or dive deeper into a specific angle. I use it whenever I need to quickly understand something new, whether that's researching a tool I've never heard of, fact-checking a claim someone made, understanding a concept I'm unfamiliar with, or just getting up to speed on a topic fast. It's become my default search engine for anything that requires actual understanding rather than just finding a website. The second tool is Notebook LM, which is Google's research tool, and it works completely differently now. Although with the recent updates, it can search the open web, it is still way better performing. When you upload your own research and ground the AI in your actual documents, you just drop in your PDFs, articles, transcripts, reports, whatever you are working with, and Notebook LM becomes an expert specifically on that information. It handles up to 50 sources, which means you can ask it questions that it answers using only what you have provided. So if you're preparing for a big presentation and you have a dozen research papers to get through, you can upload all of them and ask questions like summarize the methodology each study used, and it'll synthesize that for you. If you're doing competitor analysis, you can upload their investor reports, blog posts, and press releases. Then ask questions about their strategy. It'll only use what you've uploaded as context, which means no hallucinated facts from the broader internet. There's also this feature where it can generate an audio overview of your sources, like a podcast-style discussion between two AI voices summarizing the key points. It sounds gimmicky, but it's actually useful if you want to absorb information while doing something else. So use Perplexity for quick research from the open web and Notebook, LM for deep dives into your own documents. Now, let's talk about creating visuals, because this is where AI has gotten genuinely impressive. Image generation has gotten ridiculously good over the past year, to the point where it's genuinely hard to tell AI images from real photographs. In many cases, two tools have emerged as the ones worth using, and they excel at different things. Midjourney is still the gold standard for pure image quality and artistic style. The images it produces have this polished, almost cinematic look that other tools struggle to match. There's a reason professional designers and artists keep coming back to it, because when you need something that looks like a professional photographer, illustrator, or concept artist created it, Midjourney consistently delivers. Now, for a long time, the downside was that it only worked through Discord, but Midjourney has since launched a web interface, so you aren't forced to use a chat app anymore. That said, the platform is still built around a complex set of parameters and commands that take some getting used to. But once you understand how to write prompts and use the various parameters, the results speak for themselves. If visual quality is your priority, Midjourney is the choice. The second tool is Nano Banana Pro, which is Google's image model built into Gemini, and it's on this list for a few specific reasons. First, it's solved the text problem. If you've ever tried to generate an image with text in it using AI, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The text almost always comes out garbled, misspelled, or completely unreadable, like the AI's trying to draw letters it's never actually seen before. Nano Banana Pro actually renders text correctly and legibly in multiple languages, which opens up an entire category of use cases that other tools can't handle. Social media graphics with headlines, YouTube thumbnails with text overlays, posters, book covers, mock-ups with realistic signage, anything where you need words to actually be readable. But there's more to it than just text. Because Nano Banana Pro is built on Google's Gemini model, it actually understands real-world context before it generates anything. So if you're creating infographics, product shots, or anything where accuracy matters, it tends to get the details right in ways that pure artistic models don't. You access it through gemini.google.com by selecting Create Images and choosing the thinking model. And there's a free tier so you can test it before committing to anything. Now, one thing I've been doing recently is taking those generated images and turning them into video, and the tools for that have gotten surprisingly good. Veo 3.1 is Google's video model, and the reason it stands out for converting images into video is that it generates audio natively alongside the video. With most AI video tools, you generate the visuals first and then figure out sounds separately, which means syncing dialogue, adding sound effects, and layering in ambient audio is all extra work. Veo 3.1 does all of that at once. When you generate a clip, it comes with synchronized sound effects, ambient audio, and even dialogue with accurate lip sync already built in. You access it through Google Flow at flow.google.com or directly in the Gemini app, and the videos output at 1080p with the ability to extend clips up to 60 seconds or longer by chaining generations together. Generating text to video clips is just as easy and gives high-quality results. Kling is the other option. And the reason it keeps coming up is the balance between quality and cost. You access it at klingai.com. And the latest version generates videos at 1080p with extensions that can push clips to 2 or even 3 minutes. What makes Kling particularly good is image-to-video conversion. You upload a photo or an illustration, describe the motion you want, and it brings that specific image to life while keeping the original look intact. There's also this Elements feature where you can upload up to 4 reference images and maintain character consistency across the entire video, which solves one of the biggest problems in AI video, where faces and objects tend to morph between frames and the pricing is significantly cheaper than premium alternatives, which matters when you're generating dozens of iterations to get the right result. When you need integrated audio and longer cinematic clips, go for Veo 3.1 Klinging. Character consistency, and more affordable generation at scale. Now, once you're using all these tools for research, images, and video, the files and outputs start piling up everywhere, and that's where automation ties everything together. This category is about connecting all those loose pieces into a system that runs without you. And 8N is a low-code platform that lets you connect AI tools together into workflows that run automatically. So you could build a workflow where Perplexity automatically researches a topic every morning, sends that research to Claude to write a summary, and saves the result to a folder, all without you touching anything. Or you could have your meeting notes from Granola automatically processed to extract action items, which then get added to your task manager. Make.com is another automation platform which does essentially the same thing with a more visual interface. If you want pre-built templates to start from, rather than building everything yourself, Make has a larger library of ready-made workflows you can customize. Once you start thinking in terms of workflows rather than individual tools, the value compounds. Every tool on this list becomes more useful because they're feeding into each other instead of working in isolation. Now, the only reason all of these tools actually make me more productive is because I know how to prompt them properly. Because the difference between getting a mediocre result and getting exactly what you want often comes down to how you ask the AI, and there's actually a method to it. Google released a 6-hour prompting course, and I summarized the key lessons from it in this video right here. When you're ready to get better results from every tool on this list, if this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos. Thanks for watching. See you soon.